Hi, this is Richard Campo from Rose Capital Partners, and today I'm with Simon Williams, our resident protection expert. How are you, Simon?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm shaking off a bit of a cold, hence the voice.
Yeah.
I'm not going for sort of like Barry White Mark II, so if anyone thinks that, my apologies. Just shaking off a touch of man flu. But far more importantly, what we want to touch on today is around the protection side of the business. So primarily we're a mortgage brokerage as a firm, that's what we do. But once we arrange a mortgage, I've always felt we have a duty of care to protect clients. So that's what we're going to explore. And there's only sort of three sort of main areas that I want to go through really, which is, why does someone need protection? What barriers sit in place of them getting it done? And then what are the sort of the main benefits to getting some protection in place? So if we go through those in order, Simon, so the first one, the big question, why do people need protection in the first place?
Well, I think everyone needs protection, especially with the clients that we speak to. These clients are going to be taking out a mortgage, the biggest debt they're ever going to take on. And I believe it needs protecting. If something was to happen, if they were to pass away, it gives them the peace of mind that their partner, family don't have to worry on that front.
Absolutely. I think really around the protection, the way I've always described it, or it was described to me a long time ago, was that when you have protection in place, it means things are happening the way you want them to happen. Because people are very adaptable. Something happens if you lose your job, if you get sick, and ultimately if you die, people around you cope. Okay, that's just the way it is. But if we can put, to be very blunt, a big check in the way of that, it just means things happen the way you want it to happen. So I completely agree with your sentiment there. So that leads very smoothly into sort of the second point is, a lot of people do have resistance, particularly you mentioned the insurance word, people's barriers go up, and I understand that. But in your experience, what are the main barriers people have, or why don't people take it?
I think people won't take insurance because they have good work benefits. I think that plays a big part of things. Death in service, good sick pay benefits. I think that is one of the most common barriers. Okay. I think another barrier is, depending on the age of the client, I'm invincible. I'm young, I'm healthy. Nothing's happened as of yet. But that's the main thing. As of yet, nothing's happened as of yet. So it's always a good idea, the younger you are, to take out protection. Okay. I also do believe a barrier that I've come across is understanding. Sometimes clients just think insurance is insurance. They don't really understand, what that policy is going to do for them and their family. And, when I do have conversations with clients, 5-10 minutes, a lot of the time, they agree, or, they're more interested after 10 minutes purely because they have a better understanding of how the policy would work and how it would, benefit them and their family.
Absolutely. I think, as you say, I think the problem with our business is we deal with incredibly successful people.
Yeah.
And because you're successful, you're an anomaly anyway. I mean, to even buy a house right now, you're doing extraordinarily well. So just to even achieve that, quite frankly, in London. So let alone some of the clients we get. And I get the fact everyone's Superman, Superwoman. I get that. But it goes back to sort of what we said before, is that, what would you want to happen? That's sort of the key message. And I think, particularly on work benefits, we know this very well, is that people change jobs. People become self-employed down the line. I would use myself as an example. I started off my career in a bank, fantastic benefits, then set up my own business. I have nothing. So there's nothing to stop you setting up something now. You still get the benefit of your work benefits, but it makes sure then that goes to your family in addition to being debt-free. So I can never see that really as a bad thing. But most importantly, really, is just I think protecting people's lifestyles. And if you do earn a good sum of money and you can't work for whatever reason, that has a huge impact. And there's, again, nothing that was described to me many years ago is, if you just sort of go through this exercise mentally, is if you look at your bank statement and all the direct debits, you think, right, okay, your income stops. What do you stop paying first? It's quite a brutal exercise to go through, but that's the reality. And the point of this is you don't have to do that. So that's, I think, really the fundamental to what we're looking to do here. And that flows beautifully onto sort of the last point I want to discuss, really, around what are the benefits, which you slightly alluded to there. Because I know insurance moved on hugely in the last sort of 5-10 years. And I think some people aren't aware of the obvious benefits that we've mentioned, is clearing off debts and doing that. But what are the other benefits that you see in your experience with dealing with clients and dealing with insurers? What sort of things are people enjoying as a benefit to this?
I think one of the biggest benefits is the ability to put the policies into trust. I think that is a huge benefit. Like you said, we're dealing with very, high net worth clients, very successful clients who would want to protect themselves. And by putting the life insurance policy into trust, that will do that. Help it avoid any inheritance tax, quicker payouts. So yeah, I feel that's a huge benefit. And when I'm speaking to clients, and I mention that, there is prick up, they're interested because it protects them and their family.
Okay, excellent. And I think also as well, just honestly, I mean, that's the fundamental. That's the big stuff. I think one of the funny things is, like, for example, I have a Vitality policy myself, and they're sort of off the charts in terms of benefits. But there's lots of little things, and that's just one firm. Obviously, we've got a whole range of insurers we work with, but there's lots of little things where you can save money as well. Where you get things like, I mean, one thing that's a huge thing, I've used this directly myself, is where you get access to GPs. You just go on an app, you can book an appointment with a GP, you get things like discounts off gym memberships and trainers and all these little superfluous things. But ultimately, if you do engage with it, it can actually save you as much money as the policy costs in the first place. And I think you can't get away from it. I don't care how much money you earn. We're recording this in September 2023. Cost of living is brutal for everyone. So any ability to save any amount of money, I think, is a good thing. So that's probably a silly little thing, but it all helps.
Yeah. No, I agree. Vitality with their benefits. You've got Aviva who do that medical. You can go and get a medical done, which I think is about £70. And that's a great benefit. Clients like that, as well as the other health benefits these insurers offer to clients. Second medical opinion service. I've experienced that myself with my little one when she was a little bit younger. A rash that wouldn't disappear. Doctor kept saying it was laundry. The washing detergent that we're using, changed that multiple times. And then I actually used a service of one of the insurers, and they came back and said it was a dairy intolerance. So yeah, it's great benefits. Whether it's saving some money, at the gym, or whether it's giving that, again, I use that word, peace of mind around getting that second medical opinion. So these insurers, especially over the last, you mentioned there 5-10 years, they've evolved and they're adapting to what the clients want.
Absolutely. I think it really goes back to that classic overused word I touched on around wellness. Insurers understand that actually keeping you healthy, okay, you can look at it cynically, so they've got a vested interest to keep you healthy, but why wouldn't you want to be? Why wouldn't you want to look after you and your family? So I think your interests are aligned more than being cynical, if you see it from that perspective. So I think that's a really, really good summary there, Simon. So I think, if anyone's been affected by this or wants to have more questions, we haven't touched science, we haven't talked about policies, we haven't talked about specific products. So, if you do want to look in this area, please do pick up with Simon. His details on the website. You can book in a meeting directly or just get in contact with the team. We'd love to help, because as much as we love arranging mortgages, which we absolutely love, it's just equally vital we protect it. So until next time, thanks a lot.